You know, today we're going to talk about Medicaid, and we're going to talk about the problems of Medicaid, and we're going to talk about my plan to put money in Medicaid. Medicaid is the nation's largest payer of long-term care, funding approximately 50% of all long-term care, spending nearly two-thirds of all nursing home residents. Folks, the state is suffering one of the biggest economical crises in my lifetime, and it has had a major impact on seniors and children and the at-risk population. And Medicaid, there's a disaster lurking in the near future with Medicaid. Medicaid is currently being propped up by the massive amounts of federal stimulus money. I want to say this to you today. I want to thank President Obama for the stimulus money that he has sent to Alabama to not lay off teachers in Alabama. I want to thank President Obama for the money that he has sent to Alabama so that we can prop up the Medicaid problems that we have in Alabama. $700 million. Can you imagine where Alabama would be today if President Obama had not sent that money to Alabama? You know, President Obama has taken a lot of licks from a lot of different angles, and as Commissioner of Agriculture and a citizen of Alabama, I want to say thank you, because I know the seriousness of the problem. You know, when the funds run out, that's going to leave a huge hole in the most critical programs in Alabama. 817,000 Alabamians are enrolled in Medicaid. That is 17% of the state's population. Medicaid enrollment has increased nearly 50,000 people in the last 2 years. And the state revenue collections in supporting Medicaid are decreasing. You know, I am one candidate who is running for governor that has a plan to put money back in our Medicaid programs. In 2010, Alabama's state Medicaid budget is $4.9 billion. Alabama is responsible for $1.1 billion. The general fund only allocated $308 million of the $1.1 billion that Alabama is responsible for. And $700 million of that was stimulus money that President Obama sent to Alabama. But the real picture is this, guys and ladies. In 2011, the stimulus money will run out, and folks who need Medicaid will still be here. Nearly 1 million Alabamians are eligible for some type of Medicaid coverage. Let me tell you just a little bit about the Medicaid program and who is eligible and how important it is. Over 50% of all births are paid by Medicaid. 39% of Alabama's children depend on Medicaid for health coverage. And 20% of Alabama's elderly residents are Medicaid eligible. And 65% of all nursing home beds in Alabama are funded by Medicaid. And 74% of the nursing home residents in participating facilities are eligible for Medicaid. But what that means is that hundreds of thousands of Alabamians will lose essential services if we don't find a fund to help these Medicaid programs continue to function as they are today. And time after time again, and I will continue to reiterate, is that if we don't tax gambling in Alabama, and we don't regulate gambling in Alabama, and we don't control it in Alabama, then what are these programs going to do? where is the money going to come from to make sure that we don't have fewer beds in our nursing homes, but to make sure that we can at least maintain the level of beds, if not even more. That probably becomes a little more personal to me. I know it becomes personal to a lot of folks. But I just had a grandmother last week that passed away that y'all saw stand on the Capitol steps. Even my dad's mother passed away about 6 weeks ago. She was 97. My grandmother was 100. The quality of care that they deserve once they get to that age is something that Alabama ought to make sure that happens. I want to make sure as governor is that there is a revenue source that is dedicated towards Medicaid that will at least fill some of the holes that when the stimulus money runs out, that we don't have such a disaster as that I believe that we're looking at if we don't. You know, being governor and running for governor of the state of Alabama is not an easy job. It takes tough choices. But it also takes an individual, in my opinion, that will tell the people of Alabama, folks, this is where we are. This is where we're going. And this is where we're going to be if we don't have an answer. And it takes courage to make decisions about the future of Alabama. I have made a decision that when I become the governor of the state of Alabama, we are going to tax existing gambling in the state of Alabama, and we are going to use that money for Medicaid so that we don't stop the essential services that our children and our elderly in Alabama deserve. And as governor, I want to reassure the people of Alabama that we will do that, because bingo halls are popping up all over the state of Alabama without regulation. We have casinos in Alabama today that don't pay their taxes. And we are going to tax them, and we're going to use that money for Medicaid. And I will give the people of Alabama, if they want casino gambling in Alabama, they will have an opportunity to vote on it. And I've said it time after time again. You've got Republican Governor Haley Barbour in Mississippi. I don't believe for 1 minute that he would give up the first bingo hall or casino. I can assure you that the revenues that they have received from casinos in Mississippi has been a blessing during these tough economic times for the essential services that they deserve. So that's why I've asked you to come here today, is to try to paint a picture for the people of Alabama of the disaster that is coming down the road, and that if we don't have a revenue source to try to fix that disaster, it will become worse than we've ever seen it in the history of this state. And as governor, it is my intention not to let that happen. I just believe the people of Alabama need to know what 2011 looks like. And maybe that will help them in making up their mind whether what they want to do or which path we need to go.